matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. It's a new day, Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name, replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these cowboys. Keep it in your hostess, you've been cheating like an off day. We got Slim Shady, you too caught up in Beyonce.
Welcome to a special pregame show. The Lions and the Bears tee off tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Time on CBS, I believe, right? CBS?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, first off, happy early Thanksgiving to y'all. Thank you for coming on tonight. We wanted to definitely do the show tonight because everybody's going to be with family tomorrow. That's the time you want to spend is with your family for Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
How's everybody doing right now?
Good.
Good, man. Excuse my voice. I still don't have like a voice, strong voice.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. It's that time of the year where, everybody's got a little bit, raspy throats, adjusting to the weather changing and all that, but we powered through, right? Just like the Lions, we powered through. Right. On that note, the Lions went into Indianapolis, took care of business. What are y'all's thoughts on this game? This was an interesting game because I didn't think that the lead was ever in doubt with the Lions. I thought the Lions kind of played around again with the Colts, but I don't think there was any doubt that we're going to win that game. I mean, we're the better team by a huge margin. Yeah. And, this defense just continues to play at an elite level. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about what are y'all's thoughts on that game.
Yeah, that game, man, it was interesting because, a lot of people say the Lions haven't played any real competition, right? But you got to look at who they played. That's a playoff team still. They are still in second place. They were, on the cusp of being 500. I mean, I know that they had their struggles, but, Indianapolis, they still got a great defense. As you've seen, their defensive line gave our offensive line hell for us.
Yeah.
And that team is somebody you don't take lightly. We talked about that over the week. We said that you don't want to take the Colts lightly, take it for what they are. But what it really showed me is how deep this Lions team really is. I know we can say everything we want to, but, you had a few starters go down, and they still went out there and took care of business.
Yeah, it didn't look like they lost the beat on what they were trying to do. Monty goes out and Gibbs just goes off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he had 12 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was near 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's big time right there. Then also, I don't know if you noticed, but Jared Goff didn't throw a touchdown last game, but he still had over 200 yards passing. He still completed. One of the more important aspects is if you can take care of the football, you get the job done on offense, man.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So,
what do you think, B?
Great game, man.
Well, I don't know what the persona is. People are saying they were just messing with Indianapolis as far as offensively. I think they had a very poor offensive showing, to tell you the truth. They probably could have done better than they did. I think the offensive line, I don't know what's been going on last 3 or 4 games, but they've been acting like they don't know how to block sometimes. And that kind of concerns me because it's, this is a time when you need to start blocking, and they really need to do this next game. I think Goff was he was pedestrian last game too. I saw some throws that he should have made, but he didn't make. There's a couple of throws that were way over or to the outside of the receivers. I was like, dude, you make that.
He missed Laporta a couple of times. Easy plays.
9 out of 10 times he makes those plays. Yeah. So I'm sure. To the fact that they knew that they were the Lions in general are overpower. They can overpower Indianapolis, but I think that they just had a lackluster on offense because they knew they can score a couple of points and know the defense was going to stop them. Right. But at the same time, that's kind of not, don't do that. Don't be taking advantage. I don't care how good bad the team is, man. Put them away.
Absolutely,
blow them out.
Yeah. And they had opportunities. I think when they had the chance on fourth down, where Goff, the fourth down play was horrible. Let's just get that straight right there. I don't know what the hell that was, but the play before that to Laporta, that's an easy pitch and catch. Laporta easy, maybe even scores a touchdown on that play. Like you can't miss those throws. And then I think he missed Laporta on a wide open corner route too, where he was wide open and he threw over his head. So yeah, Goff's got to clean that up. He made some good throws too. Made some good throws to Amon-Ra, made some good throws to Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick had a really good game. Yeah, really, really, really solid. Guy is really coming into his own. The thing that really impressed me the most from this game was two things. A, the hitting was hard on both sides. Like there was some good smash mouth hitting. Like the Colts definitely came out and we're not going to take any lip from anything the Lions. They were going to hit them hard and they were going to make them feel it. Aleem McNeil was wrecking havoc on that O-line. Like he got holding calls against the O-line. He got penetration up the wazoo. Probably should have had at least 2 sacks. Had a forced fumble. I mean, dude, nobody's talking about Aleem McNeil, how good he's been playing this year. He doesn't have the sacks. Like he should at least have 6 or 7 sacks, at least. But the dude is just messing up O-lines left and right, man. And then DJ Reader's just doing his thing inside. But Aleem McNeil, in my opinion, is probably the most improved player this year on this defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think it's in part too to DJ Reader too. DJ Reader's being quiet on that line, but Aleem McNeil is the one that's reaping the rewards from that double team that they have to take, and the fact that we got Zadarius Smith now,
he's playing very well too.
Yeah, Pascal's picking his game up. These offensive lines now have to recognize that that pressure can turn into a sack if you let it. So I really do believe that DJ Reader is the guy that's captaining that line right now.
Let's give shout out to Jack Campbell too. In his first start, he played really well. Should have had a pick. I think Richardson was shorting it, and Jack was right there. Almost, I think he dived for it and almost got it. But yeah, Jack's been playing. I mean, quietly, Jack and McNeil are probably been playing balls out for this defense, and nobody talks about. Everybody talks about Branch and Kirby, and they should, and CD and Terrian and Hutch when he was there, and Darius. But nobody talks about Reader, McNeil, and Campbell. Yeah. Those guys never get talked about, man, and they are just balling out this year, like just really good.
Yeah, 100. They've been balling out. I'd say really. I do want to piggyback on what you were saying about Aleem McNeil. This guy, he's like really stepped up his game. I do think that DJ Reader is part to play in that, obviously, because you can't double team them both, and somebody's got to
exactly.
But Aleem McNeil has definitely been doing his job. He's showing why he's worth that contract.
And they. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just going to say he turned into one of the 5 best defensive tackles in the game.
Sure. Yeah.
5 better defensive tackles in the game right now, nose guard or otherwise. Probably not. Aleem McNeil has definitely stepped up, and he's done a great job. I got to give him a big shout out.
Having Reader allows him to play the 3-tech, where that's where they really want him to eat. And that's where he's starting to really take on these guards one-on-one and just demolish them, like bull rush them, push them. I mean, I saw so much push on that line. It was like crazy, like just running over dudes.
Yeah.
Pascal, Smith, Aleem, Reader, you name it, man. It was like turnstile. Like they were just running over linemen. Now, to be fair, they were 3 backups. That's okay, but they still get paid in the NFL to play. And this D-line, I tell you what, it starts with Coach T. Coach T, bring in a guy who's regarded as one of the best defensive line coaches in the NFL to already a talented line is impressive. And you're seeing the reaps of his teachings.
Yeah.
Like shed and go, man. Shed and go.
Yeah. Going back to what a lot of people have said before, this is the best coach team in the NFL. I mean, not only do you have the players and the depth, but you also have the leadership, the coaches. It's starting at the top and it's going all the way down to the bottom. They built a juggernaut team. And really quick, you said something, Nate. I got into an argument with some people who will go nameless. They were saying that the Lions were going up against bad teams or backup offensive linemen. Well, that's what the Lions are supposed to do. When they're playing against backup talent, you show them why you're the starter. You show them why you are. You don't take it easy on somebody because they're a backup player. You go out there and let them know, like, hey, I'm coming at you.
And also too, for anybody who says the Lions haven't played anybody, we got a first place schedule this year. Okay, you don't get any better than that. You play all the division leaders. So I don't want to hear this BS about we haven't played anybody.
Yeah, of course, man. Seriously, and I
just asked, a bunch of haters.
Who I asked? So who of any substance did the Packers play and beat? If we want to go down that route, and it's so many things. You don't choose your schedule; they choose it for you. Obviously, we know how that goes. But the Lions have done what they needed to do. They went out here and played the competition that they're playing, and they're beating them. And not only
Lions had one of the toughest schedules in the NFL this coming year. I don't know where they rank, but it was like in top 10 or top 5 or something like that.
And
it was
I think 6. Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good. But not
I say who does
not 6 anymore though.
Yeah.
Because when you become see the problem is too. Once you see how the team plays, this is their 11th game. It's about to be the 12th game of the season. Mm-hmm. They played 11 games and won 10 of them. So at one point of the time, you're going to have to start saying, well, the competition that they're playing, it looks like they're beating up on competition all the time. Well, that's because there's no competition for the Lions right now.
Right.
They're beating every team, and because they can beat every team. I mean, save Houston, they're finding ways to win games that they find themselves stuck in. But then, the teams that they need to beat, they beat the death. It's I mean the next what 6 games that they get, I mean they can beat every one of those teams. They don't have to lose for the next.
What are they supposed to do? Make it look easier for the team? It's just like, come on, man.
Right.
Not only that, but just to piggyback on what B was saying with the schedule, I mean, we didn't know that these teams were going to be bad. If you looked at this schedule before the season started, there were going to be some tough games. It's just the Lions have been a better built team that has been able to withstand adversity more than a lot of teams have had this year. And, they just keep on ticking. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All right. Well, let's put a bow on this game. Any final thoughts on this past game?
Yeah, let's not forget about the defense either. The defense did an absolutely good job too.
10 quarters without a touchdown.
They allowed Anthony Richardson 11 of 28 for 172 yards. Now they did allow him to run 60 yards with six yards a carry. Yeah. However, that was even more than guess who? Remember we were talking about Jonathan Taylor, and I told you Jonathan Taylor ain't going to be no problem. Nope, not a problem. He only had 32 yards.
Well, you know what the funny thing is too about it being, and I don't know, maybe. Here's the thing: is I think these teams give up on the running game, even if they know that they're not getting success on it, they give up on it. Like I saw one read option from the Colts, and I was like, oh man, if they keep running this read option, the Lions are gonna have some fits. Now, give AG credit; he did go and make some adjustments, but I think it's a combination of the Lions getting the lead, and they know how high powered this offense can be, so they feel like they have to play catch up with us. And so the running game goes out the door.
Also, the thing I'm looking at too, you're saying that they don't they give up on a running game. Well, they try to run the ball in the beginning. They do. I see these teams really trying because they think they're gonna find a chink in Detroit's armor against the run. It ain't gonna happen. And once they find out it's gonna happen, by that time it's too late. We're up by 2 scores because you decide you just want to run the ball and be dumb. What you need to do is pass the ball. And even then, that's not a good decision to make because you might be able to pass it between the 20s, but you're not. Once you get to the red zone, it ain't happening, buddy. We got the best third down and best red zone, defense in the league. So
Yeah, defense has been playing lights out, man. Lights out.
And
100%.
I can't tell you how many analysts have been saying this about Chicago too. Any team basically that the Lions play. Oh, the Lions got one of the worst pass defenses statistically in yards. Yes, but where it counts is in the red zone, third downs.
Yes.
Those are percentages that count. I don't
And
care
scoring
about how many
defense.
yards they give up. Right. I don't care how many yards they give up. It's called bend don't break.
Them scoreless. Let's keep it at that scoreless.
Y'all remember like the Patriots when they always had those top defenses? They gave up yards, but man, when it got to the red zone or it came to scoring defense, they didn't allow a lot. And they were always in the top. They were always in the top in those areas. And if you're one of the highest scoring teams and you're one of the lowest scoring teams allowing points, you're pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the turnover point differential so we're the best at it. Because we score the most points and we give up the least points. I mean, that's a recipe for victory, if you ask me. You score more than they score, so you're going to win, right?
Really quick, that they gave up on their run game. And since they did, you want to know, if you looked at Anthony Richardson's face, it's almost like coming a common theme now that they are getting that offensive coordinator and offense frustrated because you can't do nothing against this defense. No matter how much you try to run the ball or you try to force the ball, they are finding ways to stop you or get turnover. You see them getting upset, the miscommunication between the wide receivers and the quarterback and the tight end. You see it out there, man. That's one thing Aaron Glenn has done a fantastic job, 10 out of 10 this season, is being able to throw coverages at quarterbacks, especially the rookie quarterbacks. Just demolish them, man. Like, it's just so great to see, man. Like, I'm so happy we get to really see the benefit of having
I'm going to go back to what the safeties coach said about AG. Some coaches attack scheme with scheme. AG attacks scheme with players.
Yep.
Even if it's the third player on the team, even if it's the third or fourth cornerback, he's going to attack who he feels can attack the scheme of what they're trying to do. Right. And hey, it's working, so let's keep it going. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, 100%. Let's keep it going, man. Anytime that you got your defensive coordinator, third, fourth quarter, just sitting down on the bench, just crossing his legs. I mean, dude, he damn near called one of the fans from the stands and said, "Hey, call this player," or call.
To be fair, the offense was on the field, but yes,
of course. But man, this guy, I mean, he's every time you see him,
he deserves to take a bow. He deserves to take a bow, man, for sure.
He does, 100%. I mean, that's the real testament of how good this defense is, man. Seriously.
I'm just glad. I'm glad it's working for him, man, because people were crapping on him all last year. And I kept telling people it wasn't AG's fault. Like, you take away all your good players or you don't put talent around. Well,
I had to disagree with that. So there was a lot of his fault in that in last year's. I think what happened this year, he learned from his mistakes. And it wasn't just good players because right now he doesn't have all his good players still. He doesn't have
but he has a better secondary than he had. He had a better secondary than he had.
And really, his secondary's limping in there too. If it wasn't for the two safeties, that secondary would be sucking. But the point of the matter is, he's learned from his mistakes that he made last year. This is like the whole thing the Lions go through is they learn from their mistakes that they made last year.
In a sense, but also think about it. Last year around this time, we had 3 players who were no longer, 2 players that are no longer on this team, and one guy's a bench player. In our secondary, you had Kendall Vildor, you had Cam Sutton, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. All 3 of those players are either mid to just bad, right? Like
also too. Let's be fair. Like, okay, let's talk about the secondary real quick. Last year, your starting cornerbacks were Kendall Vildor and Cam Sutton. Okay, and your safeties were Tracy Walker was benched halfway through season. I don't know who it was. It was Kirby and somebody else. Who was it?
Kirby and Brian Branch. Because remember,
Brian Branch played the nickel
at the beginning of the year. Jerry Jacobs and Sutton.
Jerry Jacobs. Corners. That's right.
And then they waived Jerry Jacobs. They got rid of him. Yeah. And then that's when Vildor came in there.
Definitely.
And Brian Branch was playing a nickel. He wasn't playing safety because they had Dum Dum playing with Kirby at safety. Yeah. I hate that guy.
Yeah, man. And
But that's what I'm saying is like look at the difference. If Brian Branch played safety last year, this would have been a whole different secondary because him and Kirby together. I don't care. It's obvious whoever the cornerbacks are. I mean, they're decent, but they're not elite. But your safeties are elite, and if your safeties are elite, they cover up your cornerbacks' play sometimes.
Yeah,
well, I think the building blocks that this team has over the last 3 years, I think they wanted to get good offensively first.
Sure.
Then they wanted to build the lines up. That as they were building the lines up, they wanted to get the offense up. Then get the lines getting built up. Really, what I think what they're doing is going in phases every year of what they want to build. So this year, it was apparent that we needed defensive backs. So they went in the draft and they were aggressive with drafting, and they got a trade for CD,
right.
and they got a Meek from the Raiders. So I mean, look at that. I mean, we got a deep secondary. You got to think about it. We got a deep secondary. If all them people are playing, you got CD, Arnold, Rakestraw. He might be hurt now, but that's still a player.
Mosley.
You got Vildor, Mosley, Dorsey. You got, I mean, it's deep. It's just a deep field.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about I think they got a couple corners that are on the practice squad.
Well, so on that segue, let's go ahead and turn the page to the Bears. We play them tomorrow. So we've got some injuries to talk about. So real quick, I just want to give you guys the moves that the Lions have made today. So Khalif Raymond was placed on the IR. Dan says that he'll be back probably by the playoffs, which is good. We need Khalif Raymond, man. I mean, he's a gadget guy. He's your best returner. And I'm telling you, man, that San Francisco game, if Khalif Raymond's healthy, I don't know if we lose that game because they trust Khalif a lot. And not having him as an option was definitely tough. Maurice Alexander is signed to the active roster. So is David Long. So I mean, the Alexander is purely going to be a punt returner. I mean, and the kick returner. So, hopefully he hasn't been good, but hopefully he can hold down the fort while Leaf is gone. My thing is just catch the ball and fair catch it if you have to, bro. Like, don't be cute with it. Let's not lose the ball or anyways. Let's just catch the ball and move on. David Long, I saw a little bit of him in the Colts game. Didn't really make a lot of big plays. He was around the ball. So he's now an active player on there. So good. That's going to give him more reps. And Jamarco Jones was activated to the active from the practice squad to the active list, basically as depth. I think more likely it's probably going to be Skipper at left tackle, and I guess they're going to keep Panay at right. Hopefully Decker will be back after this game and be ready for the Whackers. CD is out for this game. Decker is out for this game. Monty and Amaroth should be good to go. They're questionable, but they should be fine. What are y'all's thoughts on those injuries? The one is preferably Decker and CD.
Really, to talk about Carlton Davis, I mean, it's no secret. That's kind of a big loss right there because that's your number one corner. That's the guy you kind of lean on with the veteran presence and
a guy who's had a lot of reps. That's a big thing. He's had a lot of live game reps, and we saw what Vildor looked like.
Yeah, and
he was a turnstile.
Going up against the Chicago team, I'm not really just too worried about it, but still, you still need starters out there. Decker specifically, man, that's going to hurt as well because he's protecting Goff, and I mean, we kind of seen Goff get knocked down quite a bit last week in Indianapolis. So hopefully, whoever is stepping up at the left tackle can come in.
I think they said Sweat's going to be on that side. So Skipper's going to be going against Sweat more likely.
It's actually pretty good. So it's like it's going to have to be a lot of compensating there, but we'll see, man. We will see.
Yeah. I'd want Panay on that left side, but being a short week and all that, it's not enough reps to get him at that position and the verbiage and all that stuff. Even though I think Panay is one of those guys that he's like Frank, man. he can play all the positions and know all the verbiage like the back of his head.
They ain't going to change that.
Yeah,
the Lions are not going to change that. I don't care if they had a week. They ain't changing that.
But they should. That's what I'm saying. They should. Because you're protecting your
I don't know about
franchise quarterback.
The Lions are going to do what the Lions think they need to do.
Well, I know. I'm saying, but
so
they should.
I'm not saying what they should and should not be doing.
Yeah.
Because what I say should, I'm just a fan sitting here watching it and through the TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What they see this stuff going on in practice every day.
I get it. I get it. I'm just talking about protecting your franchise quarterback. I want my best
Skipper better man.
That's
all I gotta say. Plus, Sweat hasn't been playing that well anyway over the last 3 or 4 games. Yeah. He just got his first sack yesterday. I mean, the last game against.
Well,
Minnesota.
As long as we get the running game going, that's not the pressure of right. Goff. They're not gonna be able to put a lot of pressure on Goff. But if the running game struggles, then yes, Goff is going to be under a lot of duress. Because Skipper is not going to be able to hold his water. I have not seen a snap from Skipper where I'm like, dude, the guy can hold his water. Like every time I saw Skipper, the guy was already past him. Goff just had to get rid of the ball quicker, So that's my biggest concern.
Skipper's done. I mean, he's done. I mean, it ain't like Decker is a whole bathtub of water either. I mean, he's done let up a few sacks as well.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, the difference between Skipper and Decker ain't that far off. I'm gonna tell you that. The Decker is getting old in the tooth, so he it's time for him to get replaced. And
Decker's still like a top 10 tackle. I mean, Skipper would even be a top 20.
You ever see the PFF grades come out every week? Decker is usually the one that's at the low end of that. Of all the offensive linemen. So, I'm not buying that one either.
Well, last year he was a top 10 tackle. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, last year he was, but not this year. Yeah. And that was last year.
Yeah, he struggled. He struggled this year. No, I get it. But one thing about Chicago that you have to understand, too, is Chicago, that's the one defense that gives us fits all the time. Like, that is the one team that I can say truly all the time just roughs Goff up. And just makes Goff throw stupid passes because he puts too much pressure on him. And Goff's got to play better. He's got to. That's the one thing that worries me about this defense.
The offensive line's got to play better. That's the whole key. Every time last year they had problems against that defense because that offensive line wasn't holding up the dam. Okay, they need to step their foot up. And get their asses together and block these guys. They just need to do this. They need to play a better and they can't play lazy offensive line like they did against Houston, against Indianapolis, hell, against Jacksonville, against Tennessee at the beginning of the game. You can't allow them teams to think they can get past that line at the beginning of the game because they will keep coming. They will keep coming knowing that they got a sack on you.
Yeah.
And Chicago is as much as I hate that damn team. They do got a good ass defense, and you just got to. Their run defense stinks. Not like last year. Last year their run defense was good. Their pass defense sucked. This year their pass defense is great, and their run defense sucks.
Yeah,
go figure.
Well, and that's a recipe. That's a recipe for disaster for the Lions because if your guys can't get open, you don't have a mobile quarterback back there. So the line can hold their water all they want, but if receivers can't get open, it's going to be a long day for Goff.
Yeah, something that
I don't have any problem with that either.
The Chicago Bears take away the number one receiver. If you go and look at the past couple of weeks, they held Justin Jefferson 2 catches for like 27 yards on Sunday.
Yeah.
Then the week before that with Jaden Reed, they kept him at bay, but this is going to have to be a game. I know we can talk about it a little bit later, but this is going to have to be a game where Jared Goff can efficiently pass to his number 2 and 3 receivers. And I'll explain why when we get there. But
and it's all going to come down to time. That's where you tie in the O-line. The O-line's going to have to give Goff as much time as he can. But Goff's got to know, and hey, if the pressure's down, man, let's just tuck that ball and take the sack. And we got a great punter. Let's flip that field and let's move on. Let's not try to give him cheapies and give him easy turns because we don't want to do that. We've been successful at not turning over the ball, and we've played some aggressive defenses. And so like I said, just Chicago. I've gone on record and said this year Chicago has the best defense in this division before the Lions season. Okay, just because you look at the guys on all three levels, you got Edwards at linebacker, Jalen Johnson at cornerback, and you've got freaking Montez Sweat at D line. You know, they have a very aggressive defense, and they always give our offense fits, man. So hopefully we cleaned it up. Hopefully the line took one on the chin, because you're right, they didn't play good the last game. And I expect them to play better this time around. So we'll see. I guess on the injury front, that's pretty much it. Chicago, I think they have their guard is out, and they have a safety out for them. So they're fairly healthy. They've got all their boys ready. Oh, Brisker's out.
Brisker's been out. Yeah, he's
been out since that hit. That's so weird. Yeah, man, he's been out for a minute.
Yeah, Byard, Byard.
He was good for a minute.
Past his prime. So Jalen Johnson, I think, is the only guy on there that I'd be worried about, and he's going to be probably on Amon. But to your point, Jay, yeah, they shut down receivers. Between Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reed. But you know what those receivers are? They're deep threats. What is Amon? And he can run routes a lot better than either one of them.
But I'm not going to be funny and be serious. Yeah. I get it. Definitely.
Yeah, he's a different receiver, first of all. Second of all, he's a great route runner. Justin Jefferson's okay, and Jalen Reed's okay. Amon is the cream of the crop as far as receivers running.
He really does a good job of getting open, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not worried about that as much. I'm sure Jalen Johnson understands his assignment as well. So I'm not expecting big things from Amon, but I'm not expecting him to be blanked either. And I think what's his name? The other receiver from Minnesota had a big ass game.
Addison. So did Hawkinson too.
Right in Jameson on this one. Yes. Jameson might have a big game.
Jameson, Laporta, and Patrick, and even Allen Robinson. Man, he might get some burn now with Leaf being out. Allen Robinson moves up that depth chart. So
I don't see Allen Robinson do anything, but anyway, I just don't, man. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think they got.
I think they'll play him over Alexander. That's for sure. They have to go if
it's an emergency, yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, maybe, but he has to develop that trust with Goff. That's one thing that you look at. Some of the receivers have, like Tim Patrick. He has that trust with Goff now. They having chemistry, like sometimes you look and nobody's open, he may just sling it over to Tim Patrick. And that's because they're starting to develop that trust.
Tim Patrick's good about getting open too, man. Give him props. Sure. Like, he's a big body receiver, but he's also a good route runner himself. Like, sure. I was telling y'all when we signed him, bro, like, this is a legit signing. Like, he still got some in the tank, man. He doesn't have to be the number one guy. He just needs to be a solid 3 and just get open and catch some balls. And he's been more than efficient. We've already got the return on him, so we're good. But yeah, I think J-Mo's gonna have a big game. And I think Laporta and Goff were just off because they didn't play the last game. So, timing matters and reps matter. And so I think that they'll get it together. And I really hope Laporta balls out for this game.
Patrick is essentially taking over where Wiz Khalifa is at. That's my boy. I call him Wiz Khalifa. That's my guy. Which we
expected too, because he's a bigger body receiver. He could play that X position. They needed that guy that could get across the middle, make those tough catches. You don't want Wiz Khalifa going in the middle and getting whacked across. Right. I mean, you saw how bad he got hit.
The only thing that they're going to miss from that spot is the speed. I mean, Patrick is fast, but he's not fast as
he's not. He's not Khalifa. No.
Yeah, he's not him by far as far as speed goes. But he does have good hands, and he's just got a good body, so he can take punishment in that slot. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
So I also do want to talk about a couple of moves that were made today. James Houston got released, and B brought up a great point, and I think that there might be some truth to this, that they think that the Houston release was part of the deal for Zadarius Smith, that it was a draft pick, and the fact is the agreement was they were going to release James Houston, and I guess Cleveland picked him up, and Za'Darius went to Detroit. So just your quick thoughts on James Houston being released. If you listen to Dan Campbell's presser, it sounded like a pretty much fuck you, we're done with you kind of mentality, which I don't blame him. I think that it was already bound to happen. I mean, Dan did say we've had him up a couple of games, and and they've never been very glowingly about him. I think the last game, the shit game, I'll call it, that's the one where he actually was pretty glowing about Houston, and after that, I didn't really hear anything.
Yeah, I think I think there's some rumors going around too that he had it out with Dan Campbell and AG, and that didn't sit well, obviously, with that coaching staff. I think the other thing is too the way that they released him. Now, if they would have just traded him outright to Cleveland, there would have been some money involved in that. And this way, there's no money involved in it, and that's the reason why Cleveland picked him up. I think they just said, you know what, dude, we're gonna waive James Houston, man. So you have a replacement for Za'Darius. Not that that's much of a replacement, but we'll give you something. He ain't gonna cost much anyway, and that's not gonna count against your cap. So you're okay. And they was like, okay, well, we'll give you Za'Darius and blah blah blah, and worked it out, and in Detroit had to make it look good, so it doesn't look like they were, Those are kind of deals that you do in the NFL sometimes. Sometimes it got to be a little shady, but that's
it makes you wonder. Like, what did they tell the people not to pick him up? And that was Cleveland's guy.
Well, Cleveland, you got to remember, Cleveland is, they had the waiver wire. They had the position top? On it. Yeah, they were up at the top. So it probably made a lot of sense for Detroit to do it that way.
Sure.
I'm speculating. It might not even happen that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's why, because I'm kind of like, why would Cleveland pick up an old defensive end from Detroit that wasn't doing nothing for us? It could have been just a swap kind of thing.
Yeah. And they needed some kind, even if they don't really see anything out of him, like they needed some kind of depth piece for losing Za'Darius. I mean, just like the Eagles went out and got our old man Charles Harris today and picked him up. It's just all about depth, so.
Yeah, I don't even know why Carolina let Charles Harris go, but that's okay.
Well, wish the best of luck to Houston. It didn't work out with us. We had those 8 games of fame, and then pretty much it was a flash in the pan situation.
Yeah, really quick to put my little 2 cents in on it. I think that it just didn't work out. I mean, he needs to come in and do something. I mean, he really was never the same after he kind of, a broken ankle last year. Never really the same, and I think there was a lot of tape out on him as well that a lot of teams adjusted to. He had one move, and Dan Campbell tried to make him versatile. He tried to throw him at linebacker. He threw him on the line as well.
Well, they knew that one move wasn't going to last. Like it never. Like even a guy like Von Miller, who I kind of compared Houston's ability, like Von Miller, the bend and all that to get low. Yeah, Von Miller has different moves. Yeah, you've got to have more than one move in the NFL. Like they see that stuff and it gets old.
I mean, it just didn't work out. Maybe a different scheme, a different team could work out for him. But I mean, just on this team right now, I think they knew that he would really win.
I trust Brad 100%, man. Whatever Brad and Dan want to do, you go for it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and another real quick thing before we hop into the matchups. Danny Dimes got signed by Minnesota. So once again, another notch for Hendon Hooker. The belief in him that, hey, we don't need a veteran quarterback. We're good with Hendon Hooker. So just quick thoughts on that.
I knew we weren't going to sign him.
Yeah,
you didn't need to sign him. Why would you sign a garbage quarterback? See, Minnesota did it because they're going to if Danny Pennies, or Danny EBT as I call him, he leaves after next year, they get a compensatory draft pick. So that was a business move for Minnesota.
And not only that, but if Darnold wants to go, you can bring him in and make him your starting quarterback until
they're going to keep Darnold.
Oh yeah, you just don't get.
Well, it depends what Darnold wants. I mean, you got JJ McCarthy too. That's going to be back next year too. So
at this point in the season, Darnold has taken the most reps at the first team. He knows the team like the back of his hand. You just don't get rid of Sam Darnold. I think Danny Dimes is going to be a guy that you throw.
They'll probably keep him for another year.
Yeah, you throw me
Kind
in
of
on
sign him
Gar-
to another year deal.
Yeah.
Well, you know how these quarterbacks want their money, man. So you got JJ in waiting in the wings. Danny's already been his contract. I think his contract terminated now since he was released.
Yeah, once he got off of waivers, he became a free
Okay,
agent. So
he'll be a free agent. Okay, so yeah, I mean you've got some options, because if Darnold wants too much money, you could turn to Jones if you feel like you're confident with Jones and see if you can find something out of him, and then keep the seat warm for JJ. We'll see.
I think it was truly just a business move for Minnesota. They get a compensatory pick for him if he leaves. So I mean, it's kind of like the same deal that we had. It's a no lose situation. They're not paying that much for him. If he does leave next season, they get a compensatory pick. So
correct.
And if he stays there, well, he'll probably be like the third quarterback depth chart because there's no way.
I tell you what, man, the belief in Hendon Hooker is impressive. So, like you said, we don't see Hendon Hooker in practice. We've seen him in very limited reps on the in the games, but he must be doing his thing, and good for him, man. I'm glad.
I'd take Hendon Hooker over Danny EBT in a minute. In no damn way.
I don't know. I wouldn't because I know Danny Dimes. I mean, obviously we know he's bad, but you know one thing he has over Hooker is experience. You know what I mean?
He's played in big games.
Yeah,
I mean, really, experience don't mean nothing if you're not doing a good job at what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. I mean, you can have Hooker out there making all the damn same mistakes Daniel Jones is, and Daniel Jones is playing like a rookie at the beginning of the season. I mean, there was reads he was making that I was like, Hendon Hooker would have saw that and not threw the damn ball, but he sees that he's going to throw the ball.
I agree. But let's say we switch the roles and you had Hendon Hooker over there starting quarterback for the New York Giants. Do you think he would have had the same or more success than Danny Jones?
Yep.
Daniel Jones? You think so?
I guarantee he'd have more success than Daniel Jones would. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. Period.
I think also too you got to look at who does he have around him too. I mean, yeah, Daniel Jones has not been good statistically. There's no doubt about that. I agree with you. But they haven't done a lot to help him either. I mean, shit, they loaded up on defense and they didn't get him another receiver. Malik Neighbors, they finally drafted a legit receiver.
Best offensive.
Yeah, I mean they had decent receivers. They had decent receivers. They had Saquon. He still wasn't doing anything.
So let me ask you this question, B. Do you think Daniel Jones could run this offense with all the weapons we have?
Nope.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to make a read.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
Goff knows how to make reads. Daniel Jones don't know how to make reads.
Okay. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to also say the same thing with Hendon Hooker. I don't think Hendon Hooker would be able to do it as well. I think Hendon Hooker gives you the same chance of winning that Daniel Jones does.
No, I disagree very heavily on that.
I really think that not leadership, but I think the experience would play a huge role into it. Like I say, Hendon Hooker don't know what it's like to actually take snaps in a loud stadium. Hendon Hooker doesn't know what it's like to have actual NFL starters come in to blitz him or when to scramble out of the pocket right then and there. I think that our coaching staff believes that he can turn into that guy, just not now.
Well, let's hope it never happens. Yeah, it's just like I trust just having 16 back there and nobody else.
It just wouldn't have been a good move for Daniel Jones to be here in the first place.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
That's fair. Yeah, and the Vikings have more of a question marks.
I'll even put it to you this way: Fram is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Okay, and he's on the practice squad. Come on. And now you can't argue with that one because Fram is a veteran and he's played on some teams. Now, he ain't the greatest quarterback in the world. No. Nobody's expecting him to be. But he's still better than Daniel Jones. I'm just saying.
I'm going to say I just don't know. I think that a lot of things went sour between Daboll and Daniel Jones.
I don't think Daboll knew what he was how to coach Jones.
Yeah,
no, I don't think Daboll did that. That was not a quarterback that he's not. He was used to coaching a guy named Josh. Not a guy named and he ain't. Daniel Jones is not even a smidgen of Josh Allen. Okay.
Oh, hell no.
So
no.
when you're
Well, we
going
can
from
agree on that
here
for sure.
to here, you know, yeah, I would.
But in the Giants' mindset, that was the thought process. Like, hey, you did a thing with Allen, and the reality is with Allen is good by himself. Like, forget Dayball. Dayball. I mean, you want to give Dayball credit. I would say it was more Allen than anything, because look at Allen, what he's doing now. Like, I mean, Allen's got talent, man.
Dayball was there when Allen started playing, and Allen was shit when he started playing. Yeah, okay, he wasn't very good quarterback. Dayball made him a better quarterback. Now, what they expected him to do with Daniel Jones doesn't have the athletic ability of Josh Allen. He doesn't have the arm strength of Josh Allen. He doesn't know how to read. He's not a good quarterback. So the Giants kind of just screwed that whole situation up, because their organization is just shit anyway, just like the Jets. So nobody in New Jersey can get the crap right. So whatever. No,
you're right. You're right. But anyways, let's move on. But anyways, I just wanted to. We had a little bit of debate there, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, let's talk about the matchups. Let's talk about what are we looking for against Chicago.
I tell you 3 things I'm looking for. I'm just going to start out with the offense really quick. 3 things I'm looking for is protection for the quarterback. That's number one.
Got to protect Goff.
We still got more games left, and we want to keep our quarterback as healthy and upright as possible. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to see them establish the run. I want to see another Sonic and Knuckles game. Number 3, I want to see how open our receivers could really get against that secondary. Now, like I said, we talked about it. The Chicago Bears defense is actually pretty good. Their secondary is really good. I just want to see the type of separation they can create. I just want to see how they'll keep that secondary on their toes. Those are the 3 things I'm looking for.
What about you, B?
I'm going defensively on this one. I think the Lions got to watch Komet. That tight end.
They haven't really been attacked by tight ends lately, so yes, that's a good point.
But Komet is a good ass tight end, and you gotta be knowing where he usually screws us all the time anyway when he's playing. So him, and also watch. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier, Nate, about Caleb. Caleb is learning how to run out the pocket effectively. And he was doing a damn good job against Minnesota in lieu of their comeback that they had in the second half. So he was making good decisions. He is throwing the ball. This new offensive coordinator is making things basic for him.
That's what they need to do. Yeah, you got to
give him basic reads, and he's been flourishing under that system. So, what the Lions need to do is they need to play basic defense with that basic offense that he's learned. Just stay out in front of the other receivers, make sure the receivers don't go past them. Do the simple stuff. I don't think the run game is not going to be important to us, because we're going to stop that. Swift can forget that. Oh, I'm coming back to Detroit. I'm going to try to get me 120 yards. Yeah, good luck on that one. You'll be lucky if you get 30. Anyway,
they might lay his ass out in the first play.
The only guy of the running backs that I would be cautious of is Rashawn. He's a real tough runner.
He's a bruiser. He's a
bruiser. And the Lions, even though they contain bruising backs, Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, those are bruising backs that he can get a couple of yards on you. So watch that. I mean, the offensive line for I believe they have a guard that went out too, but their offensive line was already sucked. I mean, Caleb, even though he was playing a pretty good game, he still got sacked 3 times last week. So, I mean, it can still be had.
Their line is a big weakness, and the way Aleem McNeil and Zadarius, I expect Zadarius to have a pretty good game too. Like, Josh has been playing well, Reeder has been playing well. I think they can handle that O-line. I really do. So I'll give you all mine. First off, turnover battle. We got to win the turnover battle. I want to say that Goff's going to have a clean game, but there's going to be a turnover. There's too much pressure. Chicago always finds a way to force the ball out with Goff. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but there's going to be a turnover. But I think that the Lions can force more turnovers with Caleb, who, by the way, is not turning over the ball at a very high rate for a rookie. So
he hasn't turned over the ball in the past 5 games.
No, that's going to change this week. or tomorrow. But like, so win the turnover battle. That's first and foremost. Get Sonic and Knuckles going for sure. You got to get Sonic and Knuckles going, man. I think Dave Montgomery's going to take this game personal, and I think he's going to have a balls out game. Jameer's going to do his thing. And then finally, you're going to have to play contain on Caleb, because if Caleb is running better and smarter, you're going to have to contain him. But also, too, put him on third and longs. And I think that's where the D-line is going to be key, because if you watch that Colts game, Anthony Richardson struggled when they got into third and long. And a lot of times it was because of holding calls on his line, because they couldn't hold our defense. And I think that's the same thing. I think this O-line is probably as bad as the Colts line. So the Lions defense D-line should eat and force holding calls on their quarterback. And you could put Caleb in a third and forever, that betters your chances of getting off the field or even having turnovers, because Caleb's going to throw some up there and hope that one of those guys can bring it down.
Yeah, I want to see them home. I want to see them get home, because one thing that you know about Caleb Williams that you can't deny is that he know how to escape pressure.
Sure.
Right? Caleb Williams really gets out of the pocket really fast in a hurry. Mm-hmm. He's running around. I want to see them get home a couple times.
It's gonna be hard, man. He's a slippery guy. B just mentioned about the Vikings. They tried to do that. They sacked him 3 times, but I'm probably willing to bet those are coverage sacks, right, B? Mm-hmm. I don't think they blitzed them a lot. You don't blitz a running quarterback, man, because if you blitz a running quarterback and you don't get home, which the Lions don't do a lot of times, you're gonna get burned
every time.
And so I think they're gonna play contain. They did a good job against Richardson. They did a good job against Kyler Murray. I think AG's kind of figured out how to contain these running quarterbacks and crush the pocket, but not trying to go too far in where you miss them and then you don't have any help on the other side.
I think the similarities that, because he's not as fast as Kyler, he's not as fast as Justin Fields, and he's definitely not as big as Richardson. Mm-hmm. He's more on, and I'm not saying he's him, mm-hmm. but he's more on the same path of Patrick Mahomes. Okay,
that's fair.
He's got that same set. I'm not saying he's him. The only thing about the difference between him and Patrick Mahomes is a veteran doing that. He is a rookie doing this. So there's some things that Patrick will see running that Caleb hasn't saw yet. So that's the advantage that we have. Okay, so we can contain him. Now, if it was Justin Fields there, dude, we'd be hit.
A running back.
Fast as hell, too.
I haven't seen this guy play a lot. So y'all tell me, against the Vikings, is he looking at his progressions, or is he a one-throw guy? Like, he hits the first option.
No, the last 2 games, even with Green Bay, even if they lost both games, they were in these games because of him, because he was making very good throws. Okay. This is why he hasn't had a turnover. And he threw to DJ Moore. Mm-hmm. He threw all. In fact, I
saw the Dunze throw that he made when they thought they were going to win the game.
Yeah, Allen had a pretty good game last game. His fat ass, but anyway, he had a pretty good game. And their rookie receiver, he was okay. He didn't get a lot of catches, but he was in the mix. So he's throw and Kmet, he threw to Kmet a lot too. He was using his weapons, and that's what I think they wanted to do. Basically, they didn't want to say, "Look, why don't I throw to one person?" They didn't want all those receivers to get in his head and say, "Dude, throw to me, throw to me, throw to me." You know how receivers do.
Yeah. Allen worries me, man, because I don't care how fat he is. He always kills Detroit. Like, he's a big body receiver that knows how to get open. And we don't have one of our
big-bodied receiver. He was always kind of a small guy. He just got big.
Well, I mean, he's a tall dude. He's a tall dude, is what I'm saying. But the guy is, when he's on, he's on. He's one of the best receivers out there. I go back to that Chargers game. Like, he tore us up in that defense, and we had shitty cornerbacks.
We don't have shitty cornerbacks. We'll see who is the person that defends him too, because like I said, he's a veteran. He's old as hell, and if he's got a Meek on him, I guarantee you he ain't gonna get nothing on the Meek. Meek is fast. He's young. He ain't gonna go for that.
And they've had those.
Emmanuel. The only thing that I could have a problem with is if they put Emmanuel on him. Mm-hmm. Emmanuel should not be covering
You don't think so? I think he's a physical.
Mm-mm.
He's a physical cornerback. He's a bigger cornerback.
No, he shouldn't be.
Gotta
He
get-
should, no, he should be on one of the two. They should put Arnold on the rookie, and they should put Emmanuel on DJ Moore because Emmanuel is a good corner. It's just he hasn't been playing because of his injuries. But when he was in San Francisco, he was a lockdown corner.
Oh, absolutely. Who do you see him? Who do you see him starting?
I want to see freaking Terry and Arnold on DJ Moore, man.
Oof.
Put him up to that task. That's what I want to see, man. And probably
let's talk about that real quick. Who's going to be the starting cornerbacks? TA and Vildor?
No, Vildor's not going to be. I don't think as long as Emmanuel Mosley's in there and they have confidence, I think he's going to start. I think he's going to be a CB.
Or did they move Mika at the 2 and put E-Man inside?
I mean, they could do either way, but I'm not confident at Mika. When they try to do that with the Raiders, he did not succeed very well. So I would keep him as a nickel and have Mosley take CB1.
I would like to see Mosley take this position today, this game, and really gel. Like, I think he's got a lot of confidence. He made it through the game injury free. I think he's feeling new life, and man, if he's anything like what we had when we got him, man, that's an added weapon right there. Like, and he's a playmaker too. The guy can take the ball away, and he is a physical cornerback.
Mm-hmm. The thing, and the reason why I don't want to see him on the rookie is because the rookie is, he is coming off an injury, Emmanuel, and he has got his second game coming up here. As a starter, he's getting in, and he'll be a starter if they start him. I wouldn't want him to be on a rookie that can run circles around his ass real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. DJ Moore is a more veteran guy. Mm-hmm. I think that he's not as fast as the rookie is. So let's go ahead and throw Mosley on him. Let Arnold be the guy that goes chase the rookie down, and let him take on Keenan Allen. So
I tell you what,
that's how I would do it. But who knows?
This is why you draft a guy like Terry and Arnold, man. Let's see what he does with stepping up and
big boy ball now.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be that guy now.
He's the guy. We talked about this when the season started. At some point, this is going to be he's going to be the number one CB1. Yeah. Hey, it's time to show, bro. It's time to show.
Man coverage anyway, right?
He's played well. His penalties have gone down. Like he's really starting to come into his own. Like it's time. It's time.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Seriously. I mean, as long as you can keep Caleb Williams under a little bit of stress, and you can kind of rush him out of the pocket and not give him any real time.
This is going to be a D-line game. Like, if the D-line can get pressure on that O-line and force holding calls to put the Bears in 3rd and longs, it's going to be a long day for Chicago because they're like Anthony Richardson. He doesn't want to be in 3rd and 20. He don't want to be in 3rd and 15. Caleb don't want to be in 3rd and 20 or 3rd and 15. He could probably throw the ball half the field, but still, he don't want to be in those situations. The D-line has to have a stellar game. They got to dominate the O-line, and they got to help out the secondary. They really do. The secondary has played really well all year, and the secondary is a little banged up. We got to get pressure and wreak havoc on that O-line for the Chicago.
Honestly, I think what they need to do? They just need to do what they did the last 2 games. Because they played 1 game without Arnold, so this time they're playing 1 game without CD.
Yeah.
So just make it work. Next guy up. They've played absolutely fabulous the last 2 games. 6 points each game. They've given up 12 points, no touchdowns in 2 games, 10 quarters. Yeah. So, what the hell?
I'm just glad we have 2 good safeties back there.
Yeah,
they're gonna help out for sure. No doubt.
They're definitely going to be living up to their names. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Smash and grab. Is that what they call them now?
Well, safeties in general.
It's not like a sexual harassment comment. Smash and grab. God. All right. Moving on. All right. Oh, man. Okay. Anything else, guys? Anything else you feeling about this game?
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving, man. The Lions haven't won since 2016, so shit's got to change, man. We can't. I'm not eating another bad Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just not.
Yeah, I got a matchup. I want out there for whoever's guarding J-Mo. I want to see J-Mo beat him. I want J-Mo to go off like this
Yeah.
is going to be a career day for him because, excuse me, we talked about it. We seen stats that show that Chicago does a great job with taking the number one wide receiver away, and I think a lot of focus is going to be on Amon-Ra. So I want to see J-Mo step up. I want to see J-Mo get almost 10 catches. I want to see him get like 100 yards, maybe a touchdown or two. I really want to see J-Mo.
Let me say this about J-Mo. Like, when you watch him catch the ball, he looks like a real receiver. And I don't mean that in a slight or anything, but when we saw J-Mo last year, he was a flash in the pan. Go for a deep ball, catch one, blow, but he's doing everything now. He's catching everything in the route tree. He's catching short, intermediate passes, drag routes, all that. Like, his potential is just off the charts.
Yeah, he's actually doing a good job with hitting the ball, high pointing the ball.
And I love seeing that, man. Like, him and Brown, man, they're such a good combination.
I want to see one of those reverse runs as well. Hell, give him a reverse run too. We haven't seen that.
I always hold my breath whenever I see a running receiver going in reverse, man, because
I don't know. I think they use those on certain defenses, and I don't think this is a defense they're going to use that on.
Yeah,
they didn't use that on the last 2 games they played them. They never used that play.
Not only
because
that, but
their defense is pretty quick and they're pretty smart. Those linebackers. See, the key to beating the Lions is linebackers. If you have very good linebackers, you can beat the Lions because they thrive in the middle of the field. And they going around the outside. If those linebackers are fast and they understand what their assignments are, they're gonna stop a lot.
Well, TJ Edwards is one of their best linebackers they have. I don't know about the other guy, but
yeah, they're all good linebackers.
Yeah, it's a good defense, man. I mean, let's just be honest. It's a good defense. It's probably one of the better defenses we'll play this year. And this defense has a history of giving us fits. So hopefully Ben Johnson's going to be on his A game, and hopefully AG is going to be on his A game.
Yeah.
I mean, this team, it should not be a close game. It really shouldn't. I think if the Lions run the football consistently and score touchdowns to the Bears, when the Bears get down in the red zone, they struggle. And as the field gets shorter for a rookie, that's where mistakes happen. And we've got 2 guys that can erase some drives for an offense, and BB and Kirby. And so I think that it's going to come down to red zone defense too. I mean, that's one of the Lions' top things is red zone defense. And also too, he's going to be playing in a loud ass crowd. Like rookie, you talk about like Hendon Hooker going on the road and playing in a hostile environment. I don't think Caleb's played in an environment like Ford Field. It's going to be loud. They're going to have to use a silent count, and he's going against backup linemen protecting him. Like, good luck, buddy. It's going to be tough.
Like I said, it's going to come down to the percentages that matter in this game is the red zone percentage, and also third down conversions. Third down percentage on defense for the Lions last game. It was 33.1. Do you know what it is now? 29.8.
That's impressive.
It's going down.
Down.
And it's still number 1.
I wonder where that ranks in like the history of the NFL because, I'm not trying to compare him to 2000 Ravens, but I would like to know what their percentage was in third downs for the season.
I mean, if you look at any successful defense, now, the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens are exception because they kept, they kept yards short. They had good stats as far as, how many yards the team got. But any good defense will those are the 2 areas that you gotta be really good
at.
Red zone defense,
yes,
and third down conversions. Because if you can stop them on third down, you obviously are getting the ball back.
You get the team off the field, and you you don't let them score points.
They're also second in points against with 16.6, and I think the only team that are better is the Chargers right now with that.
Yeah.
So that and the Chargers are set up the same way the Lions are. Their defense, they stop people in the red zone, they stop people on third down,
and they run the ball.
They have the points per defense. Is about they're number 1, but it's around 16 too. It's like I think they got theirs is a little bit lower, like 16.3 or something like that, and ours is 16.6. And then like I said, the whole thing comes around from stopping a run. We only give up 94.9 yards rushing. That's 5th in the NFL.
It's crazy. I think I saw the stat, like the worst pass defense is only allowing, I think, 240, 50 yards a game. That's insane. The worst pass defense in the NFL is allowing 250 yards. That tells me that.
That's why I say those are those are the things when I hear analysts talk about. Well, Detroit's suspected pass defense, dude. You're looking at yards given up. You're not looking at where the keys are at. Third downs and red zone defense. Yeah, it's stupid.
And the thing with the Lions defense is we're gonna allow yards, but we shut it down when it matters the most. We get off the field and we don't allow touchdowns. And that's what a winning defense is supposed to be about. It's not about sacks, not about interceptions. It's about red zone defense and getting off on third down. And if you're one of the top 2 in those areas, you're a damn good defense. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Chicago is almost in the bottom of every offensive category. So their third down percentage on offense is 32.3, which is 29th in the NFL.
The way I look at it, and I'm glad you said that, B. The way I look at it is if the Lions can get in the red zone and score touchdowns, which they can, and they will, and the Bears holding the field goals like we did the Colts, they're not going to be able to come back because their offense is not made to come back from big deficits. And if the Lions can just be smart in the red zone and get touchdowns.
That's kind of not true because last week Minnesota had a good ass lead on them, and then they came back in the second half. Minnesota, and you would think that Minnesota's defense is better than the Lions' defense, but I don't think when it comes to those two areas, there's no defense in this division that's better than Lions. Sorry. So you can say
I also think
statistically with yards and stuff like that, they might be better. But as far as those 2 epic ones right there, nobody's better than us defensively.
I'll go a better one for you, B. I think that our secondary is a lot better than Minnesota's.
Yeah.
Minnesota probably has a
that's heads above tails better than Minnesota's.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I just look at it this way: in a hostile environment, you've got a rookie quarterback that you're asking to bring teams back, when it's not really his forte. You're asking a lot of that rookie. So we'll see. This is his first game on live TV. Everybody's going to be watching. There's going to be some nerves. I guarantee you. The 12th man's going to be out and about. I definitely expect this to be a raucous crowd. Let's bring it home.
Do it, man.
All right. So let's wrap the show up and let's get to predictions. Go for it, guys. Give me all predictions. Give me your prediction. Your bold
I already know what James is. Lions by 30.
Bold take, and give me your MVP. Go.
All right. So my take, I think it's going to be a 16-17 Bears to like the Lions 32 type game. I think the MVP, I'm telling you, I think it's going to be J-Mo.
All right. I like that.
J-Mo with the breakout game, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy.
Or just add it on to what he's been doing this year.
Give me Lions,
Ooh.
man.
All right.
Go
ahead, B.
I think that the Lions should win this. It's going to be a closer game. It's a division game. Chicago always plays us tight anyway.
Yep.
I'm looking like about 26-16, somewhere around there. And I see that the offensive player of the game will be J-Mo. I will agree with that one because he's just going to go off. I don't think they're going to shut down Ahmad though, like you think they are. I think he's actually going to get some play because he's a better route runner. Like I said, he doesn't play like those other 2 receivers play. They're deep threats. He's not a deep threat. He's an everything threat.
He's going to make Jalen Johnson work. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to make Jalen Johnson work for his. And on defense, I am looking for Aleem McNeil. to get through that line this time and get a sack because they need a sack. They need to get some sacks. Minnesota managed to get 3 on Caleb, and that game was still close. So, I mean, it's not sacks don't always change the game, but it does help in determining certain factors, and they need to get a couple sacks on him.
I agree, B. We haven't. It's been tough since Aiden's gone down. We have not seen sacks come around. So I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
We definitely need to open the floodgates, especially against a weak O line. I was hoping we would get some of that against the Colts, but I think they were playing more contained with Richardson than they were trying to rush him, which they might do the same thing with Caleb too. So, mine's going to be 31-17, and my MVP is going to be TA. And I am going to go with my bold take with TA too. TA will have a top 5 PFF grade after this game. I think this is his coming out party. I think that he is one of those guys that he relishes in the opportunity when the lights are on him. He did that at Alabama. He's shown flashes of that with us. And I think that he's really going to take on this situation and run with it. I think that, I've said this before, and I kind of, they did talk about Jack Campbell after this last game. He played really well in that starting position. You're going to be hearing about TA. There's going to be a lot of positivity coming out of this game with TA. So yeah, he's going to be my MVP. I think he gets a pick. I'm still going to hold my thing and say he's going to get a pick. And he's going to have a top 5 PFF grade. He hasn't had that all year. I think he's been like the bottom of PFF or middle of PFF.
He's had a couple of games he's been up there as PFF.
Okay.
But not big PFF scores, but just enough to be on top.
He'll have a top 5 PFF grade. That is my bold prediction for TA. So yeah.
My bold prediction, if we're going to do bold prediction, Kirby's going to be getting his league-leading 8th. Interception. That's
not bold. That probably more likely to happen. Caleb's going to put it into harm's way. I'm telling you.
Well, I was thinking he was going to get it last game too, but he didn't do it.
He's always there. Like the thing is, Kirby is always around the ball, man. Like even like if you look at the misses he's had, they've been close. So
this on an off note, the Jaguars game. So you remember he got that interception, right?
Yeah.
The 2 guys that were down there defending that guy were Branch and Kirby. Did you see Branch try to jump up and grab the ball? He missed badly and fell on the side. He was like, oh, shit. And then Kirby got the ball. It was like Kirby he was probably looking at him like, damn it.
They talked about those two, about how they're so competitive with each other. And like they always say, like kind of like Gibbs and Monty does. Like Monty gets a touchdown. Okay, Gibbs, I'm gonna get mine. Okay, Gibbs, you got yours. I'm gonna get Monty. I'm gonna get mine. I love the competitiveness between those two positions, like the running backs and the safeties. Man, they're like brothers. Like they hang out on Thursday night and watch football. I'm sure they're all gonna be eating turkey at Kirby's. Like I just love this energy with these two positions, man. Like you can't ask for a better situation.
All right. Yeah.
No, 100. I agree with that. 100.
All right. Well, y'all, that wraps up our show. Any final thoughts before we put a bow on this?
Yeah, man. Let's play injury-free game. I know it's hard to do that.
Yes, please. We can't take any more injuries, man, especially on the defense. We can't.
It's been rough. It has been rough, and they're starting to pile up a little bit to where it's just like, but let's play injury-free game, man. Let's go out there, punch Chicago in the mouth, let them know that it's levels to it. The Lions are levels above the Chicago Bears. Reason why they are in the basement, man. Show them why you are who you are. You're a Super Bowl contending team, and you're going to be sticking around for the division for a very long time. Man. Let's go.
We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Caleb will have his time, but it's not going to be tomorrow.
It was so funny, too, because I've been hearing people say this is a trap game. I'm like, it's a Thanksgiving game. It's against a division team.
Yeah.
And we haven't won in 7 games. It's a trap game. Okay. Go analyze somewhere else, dude, because you don't know nothing about the Lions right now.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up a great point, B. When it's a divisional game, all bets are off. throw the records out the door. You're playing your rival.
It's on Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, it's on Thanksgiving. Yeah,
it's our fucking football game. Everybody had a copy off of Dallas, and the one they threw in at the end. We got to watch the whackers and the tuna fish.
It's the reason why. It's the reason why the Lions are a 10.5-point favorite.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Do they cover that spread? I guess by our predictions, yes, right? Yeah, I had a 2 touchdown.
I don't say that. I don't think they're going to cover it, but they are going to win. They're going to win. I don't think they're going to win handily because it's a division game in Chicago. So
the Lions are a covering machine, man. Seriously, they are a covering machine.
They are 4-1 against the spread at home.
I hope it's a long shot, but I hope we just come out and just beat the wheels off them early, man. Like put this thing to bed early. Enjoy Thanksgiving, and by the end of the game, they have Badgett in there instead of Caleb. That's my hope.
Dan said his wife is not going to like him if they lose. So
no one's going to like me if my team loses, because I could not swallow that whacker loss last year on Thanksgiving. That hurt, man.
Yeah.
Not only do you lose to the Packers at home, but you lose to them on Thanksgiving. What the hell, man?
2 games that hurt last year. One was that Thanksgiving game. That second game was against Chicago in Chicago.
Yeah.
That game right there was just putrid. That was horrible. But
that was the time that Dan said, fuck this shit. AG, you're going to have to sit down for a minute because I'm going to have to take over the play calling for the defense because something's not right here. And as soon as that happened, everything started right and the ship started right back up. See, that's what I'm talking about. AG has learned from his mistakes that he made last year. He is not making those mistakes this year. He's doing a very good job with the players that he has, and the players that he has are playing for him. They're not sitting out there BSing like Sutton. Sutton was just BSing. Although, they really had nowhere else to go. To tell you, they don't have the depth. They didn't have the depth like they do this year. So it's not like they could have said, "Well, Sutton, we're going to have you go play slot or something like that, and we're going to bring this guy over here for CB1." They can't do that. They couldn't do that last year, so they had to suffer. This year, they have that option. So
sure,
that's why I'm saying I'm never worried about them. I'm never worried about them because I know they're gonna straighten. It doesn't make a difference who's out there playing. They're all hungry. As long as you got that hunger in you, man. And I'm just not talking about for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm talking about for the game.
And the thing is with the Lions is that it's just another game on the schedule. We've got bigger fish to fry, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We're worried about the 1 seed. We're worried about the 1 seed, the Super Bowl going through the 3-1-3. That's the main focus, and hopefully we take care of business and the Eagles freaking lose on Sunday because that gives us a little more gap for that 1 seed.
Yeah, Bulls and Vikings lose Sunday.
As long as the Lions keep winning, if the Lions win tomorrow, that they could actually win a division if Green Bay loses and Minnesota loses.
Mm-hmm.
You know that,
and you beat Green Bay next week at home. Yeah, you pretty much wrap the division.
Well, I'm talking about this week after they beat Chicago, they can still win. They can win the division. It's a longer shot than the other two. Buffalo has an easier path. I think who's the other team that has an easy path too? I would say Kansas City. I think Kansas City has a little more difficult one, but Buffalo's got the easier one because everybody in their division sucks.
But the main thing is they want the Super Bowl to go through Detroit. That is the recipe for the Super Bowl is to get the home field advantage in Ford Field. So they got to come to our house to beat us and keep us from going to the Super Bowl. That's the goal right now. That's what we need. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Well, we'll see what happens. As always, fuck the Whackers, fuck the Bears, fuck the Vikings. This is the One Ass Cheeks and Three Toes show signing off. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's listening. And y'all be safe and happy holidays. We're out.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
We some lions, doing the the boys get loose, about to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening, time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose, about to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening, time to make history, I want